The green light will go to green and we're in business. And the man who gets away first is Aberdeen. Sorrel van der Merwe has already gone to second position. He's going on the inside of both. He goes onto the curbing and has been pushed out of the way once again. They're all off into the dirt as Willie Hepburn goes to the front. And all three, and van der Merwe said that he was going to get to the front before they got to the end of the first lap. The four-wheel drive's going to count now. Aberdeen's, it's Terry Moss now trying to get it going on the road. He's got to get it out of that. That is really a sand pit that keeps you and holds you, and you can see he's just getting back on the road as it bounces its way on. It's Aberdeen and van der Merwe out of the race. We're in with Terry Moss now, and right at the back of the field, Terry Moss gets onto the circuit and he's back in business. And in front there we've got Willie Hepburn and the big Sabre Opel. So there's a turn up for the books. 17 at the moment is Dion Joubert. He's behind. There's Hepburn. He's behind Coetzee. Hepburn's in the front. It's Tony Viana. And then it's Johan Coetzee. So that all this order of the starting grid has changed on this first lap. I don't think they're going to stop the race. There's no need to. Here's an action replay as Aberdeen gets pushed to the side in that very fast budget corner. Sorrel van der Merwe going across the outfield there, getting covered in dust, and those two cars are definitely out of this race. Terry Moss has recovered to get back into action, and there's the action. The leader, the big Sabre V8 Ryan Falconer Opel. It's 5.7 litres of V8 horsepower. Willie Hepburn just putting the power down and starting to walk away with the South African Championship race. The red and white Sabre Opel's in front, and here comes the other big race, and this is going to be a close one. As they come through at the start there, it is Dion Joubert leading Class B. Johan Coetzee is next, and then we've got Tony Viana. Then it's the Sabre Porsche there of Gary Dunkley. We're looking at the moment back in the field, Ben Morgan, who started from the pit road. He's got a big chance of coming through this field. It's Tony Viana, in fact, in second position, ahead of Coetzee. He's got ahead of Dion Joubert. As they go into the first of the top sport S's, here's that new position up at Wesbank corner. It's Willie Hepburn. He's already out of sight. It's Tony Viana in the BMW. Johan Coetzee in the Nissan. Dion Joubert. Gary Dunkley. Larry Wolford comes next in his Starland. And that's always a very close race. And we just look down the field, and Ben Morgan, who is well down there in the middle of the pack and starting to close. He's got to get up to the front there. Terry Moss comes through in 29th position. So he's underway, and it'll be interesting to see him coming through the field. Here's the start again. Aberdeen in the middle in the red motor car. In the Bosel motor car, Sorrel van der Merwe tries to make space for himself on the inside of budget corner. He tucks into the side, and in fact Aberdeen had the line going through there. He spins him around. Terry Moss has nowhere else to go. Look at Willie Hepburn. Feet on the brakes, lots of smoke coming from his back tyres as Willie Hepburn goes into the front, and the leading three cars are put out of this race. Recovering is Terry Moss. Willie Hepburn comes through. There's not another car in sight, but behind him in Class B, there they are, well and dug in to those. When they say those are sand traps to hold Formula One cars, you can see how well they work. And here's the big race. It's Tony Viana in front in the BMW. It's Johan Coetzee, the Wesbank champion 3 times, a Springbok in second spot. Dion Joubert, another Springbok in third. Gary Dunkley comes fourth in his class in that Sabre Porsche. As they come around budget corner, there's Boet Eco just coming into sight in that big red Opel. They've done 2 laps, and we've got Ben Morgan, who has now got up into 10th position. As we look, we're going to look at the action as he comes up on the little 1300 Nissan Sentra of the Mason Motors car. He comes through the front here. It's Ben Morgan, who's coming past number C41. And he's well on his way is Terry Moss. Coming up now on 73, Mike Langford. He's amongst the Class D cars. These are the 1400cc cars. And Terry Moss, it's really in a traffic jam. He's got the power to pass them. He's got 4-wheel drive as he comes through on the inside there. Looks like he's getting past Ralph Kernis. And he's really mobile. He could get himself up into second position, perhaps overall at the end of this race. But what an exciting start to this race.
Inderdaad, Roger, daar gaan baie harde woorde val aan die einde van hierdie wedren. Daar waarskynlik reeds baie harde woorde geval. En Jeff Mortimer, die Ford spanbaas wat hier by ons was glad nie gelukkig met daardie voorval nie. Ek dink daar gaan hard gepraat word met wie ook al daar die skuldige gaan wees. Willie Hepburn wat 'n baie gemaklike voorsprong van byna 14 sekondes oor Tony Viana het. En ek dink die aandag gaan hier gevestig wees op wat gaan Terry Moss doen, waar gaan hy eindig, en ook Ben Morgenrood. Ben Morgenrood op die oomblik Terry Moss is nou terug in die 20ste posisie. Ben Morgenrood op na die 10de posisie. Algeheel natuurlijk het hy verder teruggeval. Daar is hy, jy kan hom al reeds sien aan die bokant van die skerm. Ons hou vir Tony Viana dop, ons hou vir Johan Coetzee dop. Daar is Dion Joubert en Gary Dunkerley. Dis die stryd om klas B, dis ook die stryd om posisie nommer 2 hierdie. Willie Hepburn, as hy sy motor op die pad hou, gaan eerst eindig. Daar is Ben Morgenrood. Hou vir Ben Morgenrood op. Hy is in 'n klas A Mazda 323 met die triple rotor engine, wat heel wat vinniger en meer kragtig is as hierdie klas B motors, en hy sal binnekort by hulle begin verbykom. Ek twyfel of hy werklik die vermoë sal hê om vir Willie Hepburn uit te daag om die voorste posisie. Motor nummer 17 is Dion Joubert op die oomblik in die 4de posisie. Daar is Ben Morgenrood, hou hom dop. Maar die motor lyk baie laag, hy lyk baie agressief. Hy afgaan in die IGE pouvak, die mynskag. Hy het vir Dion Joubert voor hom. En Ben Morgenrood gaan alles wat hy kan probeer om so gauw as moontlik by hierdie klas B motors verby te kom. Tony Viana wat die motor bykie doorsit, hou vir Ben Morgenrood tot. Hy is verby Dion Joubert reeds. Met ander woorde, hy is op die oomblik in die 4de, 5de posisie. Ben Morgenrood ook nie helemaal verrassend nie. Die vinnigste rondetyd is 1.26. 1.26,6. Oh, dinge raak baie warm daar. Johan Coetzee wat so bykie buiten gaan daar. Aan die buitenkant van total draai. Rook wat daar uitkom is die van bande. En Ben Morgenrood is op in die 2de posisie. Ben Morgenrood wat 4 rondes geneem het om van heel achter deur te kom. Deur die hele veld en op in die 2de posisie. 'n ongelooflike vertoning deur hom. Wat gaan Terry Moss doen in die res van hierdie wedren? Kom ons gee vir hierdie volgorde. Aan die einde van die 4de ronde is dit Willie Hepburn met 24 sekondes tussen hom en Ben Morgenrood. Tony Viana op die oomblik eerste in klas B in die 3de plek algeheel. Dan is dit Johan Coetzee, dan is dit Dion Joubert en Gary Dunkerley. Johnny Eckhout en die ou polisie daar naby hulle. Paddy Driver is op in die 8ste posisie. Pat Duckham met vir Dave Repsol geneem in klas C. Pat Duckham die nuwe voorloper in klas C. En in klas D is dit Richard Sorensen in die golf. Nou, ons kyk net vir Terry Moss op die oomblik in die 14de posisie. 14de posisie, hy is uit. Terry Moss is uit, ongelukkig vir hom. Nummer 88, wat daar aftrek is André van Diemen. André van Diemen in sy Mazda, wat ongelukkig geen verdere wedren gaan jaag nie. Daar is Terry Moss, toch inderdaad, Terry Moss is steeds in die wedren. Hy is 10de algeheel aan die einde van die vorige wedren gewees. Nee, 14de algeheel. En hy het al reeds deur die hele voorbij, die hele klompie ander motors gegaan. Willie Hepburn so pas sy 5de ronde voltooi. Ons kyk waar is Ben Morgenrood. Net nou was die verskil 24 sekondes. Ben Morgenrood wat net buiten beeld nou deur Nashua draai gaan, terwyl ons vir Terry Moss dophou deur Wesbank draai. Ons wil net vir die gaping gee tussen Willie Hepburn en Ben Morgenrood. Dis 23,1, hy het amper 'n sekonde geneem, maar daar is nog 5 rondes oor en daar is geen manier hoe Ben Morgenrood vir Willie Hepburn gaan inhaal tensy Willie Hepburn probleme opdoen met sy motor nie.
If you just joined us, we're halfway through the race, and at the start of the race on the very first corner, budget corner, it was Chris Aberdeen, Terry Moss and Cyril van der Merwe. It was an Audi turbo sandwich for Cyril van der Merwe. They all went off the circuit, and the four-wheel drive of Terry Moss actually enabled him to get back on the circuit. But as far as Chris Aberdeen and Cyril van der Merwe are concerned, the end of their race, and this is the first heat of the Wesbank modified saloon cars, and haven't we seen it before? Just remind yourself, go back to Midval, and we'll know exactly what we're talking about. Right now, it's Willie Hepburn, though, who's showing them the way. He leads from Ben Morgenrood. Ben Morgenrood in second place. He started in the pit lane. That's right at the back of the field, and he really has flown. Tony Viana is third. There's a 23-second gap between the two of them, between Hepburn and Morgenrood, and somehow in 4.5 laps, I don't think that Willie Hepburn has got much to worry about as far as Ben Morgenrood is concerned, unless, of course, he finds himself in a spot of bother. That's car number 19. That's Johan Coetzee in the Gearmax Skyline. And he's lying in 5th position at the moment. And he is 3rd in Class B. Tony Viana is leading Class B. There they are. Viana, that's Dion Joubert in car number 17. Look how beautifully prepared those BMWs are. That's Viana up from Belcom in a very jovial mood. He didn't worry about dicing in the Stanley Group ends against the Opals today. And he really is in a great mood. And so he should be. He's leading Class B. And he won the Stanley Group end earlier on in the day. Willie Hepburn still leads. Ben Morgenrood second. Hepburn, of course, carries number 2 on the side of his car. And that Saybat car and the Saybat team are going to be absolutely ecstatic if Willie Hepburn can bring it through and hold it off and then of course start in pole position for the last race this afternoon at around 10 minutes past 5. New camera angles here at Kyalami, out of the S as they go. You can see that Johan Kutsir is trying to close in. He's getting very, very close, and a new lap record in Class E for Larry Wilford. He's gone through at 1:04.37. Ray Wilford, and that's in Class E, and that's rather quick indeed. 1:44. There's the blue flags waving as the BMWs come down the road, chased by the Gearmax Skyline, and then it's Gary Dunkley, as you can see, just leaving us now in that modified Porsche. Back in car with Terry Moss. He's the guy that went off in lap number 1 on the first corner, and he's now moved up to 11th place. He's moved up to 11th position, and that leaves him in 4th place in Class A. That's 4th place in Class A at the moment as Willie Hepburn screeches through with a 22-second lead. A 22-second lead. We're in the car once again. That looks like Repsold coming up to Dave Repsold and Pat Duckham. They're battling it out there for Class B honours in their particular little battle further down the field in Class B. Terry Moss in that four-wheel drive Audi Turbo comes up and goes past Pat Duckham up the hill. Now he'll go down towards Total Curve. Incredible speeds now. Down Brilliant Signs. NGK. Now watch this now as he comes down towards Total Curve. Behind him is Pat Duckham, then Dave Repsold. Pat Duckham, of course, is leading Class C, and he's ahead of Terry Moss in Class A. There's the leader, Willie Hepburn, in the Sabat monster machine, and he really has been going superbly well. A great time with his arm resting on the side of the window.
Well, he tells me that he puts it on the window there to be able to jam the wheel. He's not actually acting casual. He's actually holding the wheel. It's a mighty machine to steer around here. A lot of horsepower. 700 racing horses under that bonnet. The stricken Audi was the most dramatic start at the beginning of this race. They're in the outfield there. The stricken Audi and Tassel Ford are lying at rest in the outfield on Budget Corner. Here's Willie Hepburn getting through the field at a great rate of knots as Ben Morgan, who comes past us, the commentary point, 20 seconds behind Willie Hepburn. And Terry Moss did stop in the pits. He got going again. He stopped and got going again, and he's lying 3rd in Class A. It's a big battle going on in Class B, as you've seen. That's for cars up to 3.6 litre. Here's the leader. Watch him feeding that power down on the road. Nice shot of Willie Hepburn. It's the big filter box, and he's closing up in Terry Moss. He's coming up with a man who's lying 3rd in the class. This will be a turn up for the books. And there's Class C. Pat Duckham in that fancy area has got Dave Repsold in his Toyota. He's just got a brand new motor in that car. It's a 1.7 litre, probably the fastest Corolla in the world. As Duckham holds on there, tries to get a draft from this big wing at the back of Willie Hepburn's monster motor car. 5.7 litres. He's coming up here in Terry Moss, and somebody's going backwards in this race. That's not the actual idea of this race. Rex Tweedy going out of the way, getting out of the action very, very quickly indeed. So got to see which part of the circuit that was on. Here's Terry Moss, and there's Willie Hepburn's got past him. Willie Hepburn's got past him as Moss comes up with a four-wheel drive. Willie Hepburn giving that big save at Opel work over there. As you can see, feeding the power. And there you can see the acceleration. And we're going into the final lap now. Or are we? Yes, we've gone into the final lap now. It's Hepburn has all but got this race tied up. This is the 3rd man behind the leader. Bit of smoke coming out of Hepburn's car at the moment as he goes through and re-challenges him and unlaps himself, does Terry Moss, as the screaming Mazda 323 of Ben Morgan passes our commentary position. He's 18 seconds behind. It was 29 seconds behind Willie Hepburn at one stage, but this is the last lap and he's not going to be able to do it. That is for sure. It's going to be Willie Hepburn to a very popular win. He won at the last outing here at Kyalami, and then when they went down to the Goldfields Raceway, Charles Sullivan made no mistake about it. As we go down this frightening IGR hill, just look at the speed of that motor car. Anything up to 240 kilometres an hour as he goes down into the left-hander at IGR going into Conti. Dab on the brakes. Now they turn to the right, and Willie Hepburn staying with him. And they're just getting it all right as they come out there, and the road goes off to the left. You just got yourself sorted out, and it goes left around the Brilliant Science corners as Willie Hepburn comes up to lap him once again. And as he comes down the road, he'll have lapped the whole field, including the 3rd man in his class, Willie Hepburn. It's a great drive for him. It's going to be a popular one. Bit of smoke coming out of the back of that car. That's not going to worry the little man there with a big heart, Willie Hepburn, who's always in there despite whatever's wrong. Here he's going to power it to the line. And you can just see the performance of that big V8 like a dragster. getting away from Terry Moss. So it's Willie Hepburn going to win this by 18 seconds in the Big Sabre at Opal, ahead of Ben Morganroot in the Mazda 3-3, despite starting right at the back of the field. It's a great drive there by Morganroot, and a turn up for the books. There it is. Class C has been won by Pat Ducker from Natal, with Morganroot home second. There you can see the Mazda coming through. So I'll just read you the classes quickly. Willie Hepburn ahead of Ben Morganroot in Class A. Here's the Class B battle. And here's Tony Vion in the front. We'll watch this right through to the finish. Dion Jabez in second position. Johan Coetzee in the Nissan. It's a 3-litre Nissan. The new era style of Skyline just behind them. Vion, this will be his second win for the day today. He won the standing Group N race before this in the Winfield BMW. This is in the 5:35 coming to the line. And Johan Coetzee's going for the inside. Couldn't make it. Dion Jabez closes the door. This new Springbok from Cape Town. He's got smoke from underneath his car. And it looks like Jabez not going to make it to the line in time. The smoke coming out from his motor, but he's done enough to get to the line as he just sprays oil over Coetzee, who has to settle for third positions. Class B is Joubert, whether it's been knocking or not. Here's Boet Echo's big mighty machine coming to the line too. And there's the Class D battle, and right on his tail we've got number 70. We've got Richard Sorensen coming home ahead of Ray Wolford. There they are, you just caught a glimpse of them. So Willie Hepburn, thumbs up, he's thrilled with himself as he comes down to total curve and that big grandstand that's waiting for him there. It's going to be a very popular one. And there's the results. Wesbank Modified South African Championships. Willie Hepburn back in business. The Big Sabre at Opal after that dramatic start with Chris Aberdeen and Cyril van der Merwe going off on the first corner. Ben Morganroot second, 19 seconds behind. Tony Viana winning Class B ahead of Dion Joubert from Cape Town, just making it to the line. And Johan Coetzee third in Class B in the Gearmax Skyline. Class C won by Pat Duckham ahead of Dave Repsol. Class D, Richard Sorensen won just ahead of Ray Wolford, both in the Volkswagen Golfs.